Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my light and dark unit guide. So I'm going to separate this guide into two parts. Of course, it's going to be one video. This video is going to be about the light units. The next video I put up is going to be about the dark units. The reason why I'm going to do this is so that it's a little bit more easier to find. The video is going to be a little smaller. It's easier to upload. And then it's easier for you guys to watch as well, so you guys don't get bored. And it's easier to find certain units. So I don't have to like timestamp anything. You can just like skip through the guide. I think it'll be more convenient that way. Without further ado, we're gonna start with the gins, and then we're gonna complete the whole list. These are, some of them are actually like the NAT3 light and darks, but light and darks are actually 4 stars. They come in 4 stars, so there's not really any NAT3 units here. Well, there are actually, but they're very few. So we're gonna actually go over like NAT4s and then all the way down. We're not gonna go over these units, like the ones you can like farm and stuff like that, because I mean, they're only good for like farming and whatnot. But there are like NAT3 from light and dark eggs, because you'll be getting tons of them. Maybe I'll include them in this video just for the sake of the fact that you'll be getting tons of them. So let's start with the Jin. Alright, so the Jin is an attacker. He has Adrenaline on his 3-star skill, and on his 5-star skill he has Hunter. I think this is pretty good. This is a really good combination. However, good luck if you ever pull one of these, and then good luck for farming duplicates for one of these, because the way you get a Jin of the RGB elements is you run the dragon dungeon, and then what you get are these essences, right? I can't even open it on this account, but so this is the generator that will, it's like a special fusion basically, because you get these essences, and then you fuse that with whatever the generator has, and then you produce a Jin. But I mean, it's just, at the state of farming for one of those right now, it's just like not worth it, kind of like the Shiva fusion. But overall, if we're talking about the monster, he's a pretty good monster. For an attacker, he has a lot of defense on his Evo 3 6-star. So you're definitely gonna want to build some attack to get up there, because he is built with a lot of defense for an attacker. What's his... Wait, let's go take a look at his leader skill. He's increased his crit rate. Actually goes good with his hunter skill, because you're going to be building crit anyway. So, fairly decent unit, but good luck pulling him, you know. So, the Mara. Let's go on to the Maras. The Maras, I think you can get them on the 3rd continent. And they are legendaries, right? They are legendaries in the 3rd continent on all the maps. I think you can get like, I don't know the RGB element for where you can catch them at, but I think it's like water and wood or something like that, and I think you get the fire on normal or something. But for this one, he has an aggression on his 3-star and seal on his 5-star. I'd say a PvP unit, but a lackluster PvP unit. Or actually, his is pretty okay. It's fairly decent because he has aggression, so he's gonna scale with HP. And then in PvP, you know, defense, having high defense is like risky, because people run defense down on their attack teams. So it's easy to... Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I'm sorry, it's not aggression HP, it's aggression defense. So yeah, kind of risky unit. Anyway, I'm gonna stick with that, because you're gonna build defense, and then people on who use defense break are just gonna be able to nuke this down. The seal is pretty good, but it's 5 stars. It's not on his 3-star, which is more useful, because you get to use it at will on offense, and then on defense, of course, it's only a 60% chance on his 5-star. So it's kind of lackluster. He has a great leader skill though, so it's like a HP lead. HP leads are good, just like defense leads. But you know, good luck building him or raising him to Evo 3. It's a farmable unit, but for the time you're gonna put into him, you can get better units. Now Anu is a tank. He is a defense down, 100% defense down, and then a thirst. I think it's a good unit to fuse at least, like, cause you can farm. You'll basically have some of these copies from farming extreme mode on the second continent, like no doubt. But for first time fusing him, I think he's also good because of the 100% defense down and the fact that he's light element, so he's element neutral. The thirst complements the defense down on his skills for PvP. And then I think you can thirst the golems now, right? I remember Blue Soul recovery down stuff on the B8 golems when I was testing out like this super noob 2-star team. I was able to thirst, or not thirst, I was able to recovery down the golem. So I think you can thirst the golem too. That give you more opportunities to survive, so he doesn't use his special or whatever. But the highlight of this monster is definitely the 100% defense down and the fact that he's a neutral element. Pretty good. If you don't know, if you guys don't know that the Anus have a really good AOE skill, like you get a lot of hit counts from this skill. So a lot of some people run like the Wood Anu because he has Hunter on both his skills, and then he just hits a lot. So you're gonna really feel the 150 crit damage if you build him on Ruin set plus his attack. So he actually does a lot of damage. And then of course his thirst. So it's actually a really great unit. I would go for it, but I chose to instead of going for him, I chose to go for multiple copies of the Water Victoria to raise my Light Victoria to Evo 3. And by all means, that was very much worth it, because we will get to her in a bit. We'll talk about her in a bit. So Rocky, again, he's another fusion unit. I think you're only gonna get this unit if you fuse for him. So he has a morale boost of 30% on his 3-star, and then 50% shock on his 5-star. His leader skill is critical hit damage, increased critical hit damage by 45%. I mean, he's a good unit for PvP. You can shock them. He has a 100% chance to restore 30% of own HP, so he's gonna keep shocking. Basically, he's a defender. Let's go take a look at his stats. Pretty high defense, so yeah, he'd be pretty good in PvP. Compared to, he has a little less HP than this Mara, and they're both defender types. So yeah, his HP is pretty lackluster for a defender type. But I mean, I wouldn't use him. I mean, I would only use him if perhaps. Oh, that's why, because he wasn't on Evo 3. Actually, I take that back. He has pretty good. Wait a minute. No, he doesn't. I stick with what I say. He still has lackluster HP. But, you know, it's at Evo 3 6-stars, it's still pretty decent. It's fairly useful. So I would use him in PvP. I don't know where else I'd take him. Maybe Golem's B10 or something. But yeah, Shock is like a better defense down skill, but is also exclusive to PvP units because it's super good. I don't think it's AoE, is it? Breeze outlining that shock. Oh, it's actually AoE shock for 50%. That's actually pretty good for like clearing mobs in B10 and stuff like that. But as for like taking him to dragons, probably not, because like in dragons B10, the dragon runs you essentially want to be farming, you want 100% CC. So here's the Light Thor. A lot of people use him in PvP defense, huh? And that's probably because he has the best probably coupled debuffs in the game. So shock is like an upgrade from defense down, and defense down is like an upgrade from anything else, you know, in its own right, because of the defense break. So he's basically going to be, shock is like a defense down stun. Okay, so he has that on his first skill, which is you know, 60% chance, but if that 60% chance procs off, you're pretty much screwed. And then defense down is well, everyone knows what defense down does, and it's pretty bad. He also has a defense leader skill, so he increases the defense as well as taking away defense from other units. He's a tank unit at 6 stars. He is fairly, wait, hold on, that's not even Evo 3. So at Evo 3, 6 stars, he has a lot of HP for a tank. Actually, for a tank, that's actually, I forgot I was looking at defenders earlier. So yeah, for a tank, pretty exceptional. He has fairly good defense, 20 around 3,000, right? 3,000, yeah, 3,000. Around 3,000 defense. The attack is okay, but yeah, this is a pretty good unit. And the recovery is actually more than the attack. Interesting. But yeah, he's actually really good unit, really good PvP unit. He's very tanky, and then he dishes out defense, shock and defense down. So that's very deadly. Could be very deadly. Moving on, let's go to the Light Monkiki. Has Hunter for 40% on his 3-star and then 100% blind on his 5-star. I think it's good for Titans. I don't really know what else to say about this unit. I was building it, but I didn't. I felt like the dark one was a little bit better. But I mean, this unit, I don't know. Keep it for the guide. You could try and make use of the hunter skill for B10. Its stats at Evo 3 are fairly balanced, or kind of like what you want to see from a balanced type monster. HP's alright. So keep in mind that the light and dark units are also going to be better than the RGB elements, and then that's exclusively because, you know, light and dark units are NAT4s, and then NAT4s are NAT4s actually have better stats, you know, compared to NAT3s. So keep that in mind. So let's move on to the Venus. The Venus has a adrenaline and then shield. The shield is proportional to own max HP for 3 turns, and then the adrenaline is restores 20% of own HP when attacking. So it's kind of like a siren, right? Because the water siren restores her own HP, and then like you got like the wood cupid or the dark cupid on 5 stars, so it's like a shield, and it's pretty good. She also has a resistance lead, which is good for PvP. I really regret not building one of these. Would have been my main healer, but again, she was like only a fusion type monster, and like you have to fuse like the truffles with the bonds or something to get her, and I didn't grind for that. I don't know why, but yeah, she's a good unit, but you could replace her with other units that have shield, like the Dark Cupid or the Mini Cat, or I'm not really much of a shield user, I'm sorry, so I don't have much to say about her, but she is a good unit if you do get her. She doesn't have that much HP for a tank. She has a lot of defense though. She does tank a lot of stuff in PvP. I've went against this monster, but you know, you could use her on PvP defense. She's gonna be like a pain to kill, but you could also bring her into like maybe dragons. I don't know. I don't have one, so I can't run in dragons for you guys, but I don't know. Also B10, you could put her in a B10 team. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the Nessa. So the Nessa has a blind and then a sap. I mean, I guess blind and sap are good for Titans. I don't really know too much about this monster. Yeah, I have not much to say about blind. I guess blind to me is like recovery down, but blind you can use for Titan. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the skill here, the leader skill is actually pretty alright. Increase allies defense, but I don't know about raising this monster if it's worth it or not. I don't think so. just because you don't really need blind till Titans, and then most free-to-play players aren't going to need blind anyway. So moving on, Medusa, 100% stun for 1 turn, and then Elemental Edge. This monster is pretty good. Probably the best Medusa you can invest yourself into. She's also a rebirth monster too, exclusive. So the chances of getting this, the light one at the very least, is very minimal unless they open up rebirth again to her. But yeah, the best Medusa. You can rely on her 100% stun for dragons, B10, and then the elemental edge means that she will have damage against the dragon because she's light type, and then the damage is going to come off as dark type, and then she's not going to take much damage anyway because she is light type. She is an attacker. Her skills at 6 stars are pretty good attack, actually, what you want, and then you can build her so that she can tank some hits from the dragon. You could also use her in golems B10, but it's not gonna be as beneficial as running her in dragons B10 if you ran her in golems B10. But yeah, she's a very good unit. I would raise her out of all of the elements. So yeah, if you have this monster, save it. Don't feed it or anything. So we're going to talk about the light Yakshas now. The light Yaksha has a defense down at 70% for 3 turns. And then Predator on his 5-star skill increases damage up by 30%. I think this is a really good unit, just looking at it. And then you have the Death Blow, which increases critical hit damage by 40%. So you get your 30% increase in regular damage. And then if you have this leader skill, her crit damage is increased more. And then you have this defense down, which is just gonna you're gonna plow through the resistance of the enemy. So I think in all, this kit is actually very good. And the Predator skill hits all enemies, assaults the enemy with, and this is a single defense break. I think this is actually a really good kit for this light Yaksha. She's actually going to be doing tons of damage because of this leader skill if you ran her leader, and then you have this defense break. It's cancer. Holy cow. The potential of this monster is not exponential, but is pretty great because she has a very good kit. And if you guys have one, I would like for you to add me so I could do a spotlight on this monster or something. She has pretty good attack, 3200. Her defense lacks more than her recovery, but that's alright. She does have pretty alright HP too. All around good unit you could use for all content. That's what I would say, because she's a debuffer, she's also a nuker. You can build her as a nuker, a bruiser. Yeah, fairly good unit. I would use her in my teams if I had one. I do have I'm not gonna say she's the best out of her element, because I do know that the wood one's very good too. It's like 100% sleep, and that's like what I'm gonna use to get through B10. I'm gonna try and use her as a second stunner in B10. So, oh shit, I keep doing that. Yeah, this is the wood one. 100% sleep, and then critical hit damage by 50%. So sort of like the light one. The light one's a little better because of the defense down. And then the dark one, yeah. So the light and the wood unit are probably the best units for this monster. So if you have any of those two, save it. Don't feed it. Feed everything else but the light and the wood one. Moving on, the light Mona. I honestly built this and I don't really use her for anything, but she does have she has adrenaline. She restores her own HP, and then she has an aggression. She's a defense aggressor on her 5-star skill. I honestly use the wood Mona way more than I use her, just because, yeah, she's I mean, not the wood Mona, the dark Mona is just way better. I mean, you could use her for golems B10 team, I guess. She's pretty tanky. I don't really need her because I'm trying to do damage, not tank through stuff anymore. But I mean, she can help you get through content if you pulled this monster, or if you have her. She is also a Rebirth exclusive monster, so it's not like many free-to-play players are going to be having her. But if you are wondering if you need to be aiming for this monster, probably not. The only thing you'll need to aim for is to get her for the guide for some gems. But other than that, you should be focusing the Dark Mona. And we'll talk about her in the next video. So here's the Light Snowy. Also, I think he's a capture event monster. Right? Not a Rebirth, he's capture event. So the Snowy has a HP Siphon, attacks restore own HP in proportion to the amount of damage dealt, and then she has HP Siphon again on his fire attacks greatly restore allies' HP in proportion to the amount of damage dealt. So he restores his own HP on his 3-star skill, and then restores everyone's HP by larger amount on his 5-star skill. It's actually a really good unit for sustaining through Golems B10. I think a lot of people run like 2 of these guys for speed runs for Golems B10. They hit like I think like a minute 30 or something, or 2 minutes, something like that. I think I saw some guy run like 2 of these and then hit like a minute 30 or something, to be honest. I think it could be, I think so. So his leader skill is Azur's Blessing and Blue Soul Recovery by 20 and 25%. I mean, I like this because I like the Blue Orb Recovery, but I think there are better things you could use when running this. So this is Jill Frost. This is his final Evo. He's got a lot of attack, so I can see why people will use him. I don't have this monster yet, but I will, because I just have one more what is it, Snowina to Evo 2, and then I can get my Jill Frost. But I think what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the capture event to come out for him instead of wasting gleams, so I get to save my gleams, you know. I think that's more beneficial for me. I think it would be a wise decision. However, if I do need that monster, I really don't mind gleaming it. Like, I'm like on the fence about it, but I feel like the smarter choice is to save for the capture event, since they're bringing back capture events and rebirths. Overall, this unit is very good. Shines mostly in Golems B10. You could use this with anything for any other content though, but for free-to-play players, I don't think you're gonna have this monster. However, when the capture event does come out, I do recommend to focus this monster. It's gonna help you a lot making a not Dragons B10, but a Golems B10 team. So definitely one of the monsters you want to raise. And actually, I want to say that in almost every rebirth or capture event, there is going to be at least one monster you're going to absolutely want to raise. And then with that being said, this monster is one of those monsters you want to raise. And then I haven't really ran into anything else besides the Light Thor and the Venus. But those are capture. This is a capture event monster. I don't know. It's kind of questionable. I feel like the dark one's more beneficial. This one, I feel like the dark one is also more beneficial. But this monster, the Light Thor, is also good for PvP. So it's kind of like geared towards what you want. Early game free-to-play players aren't going to be geared towards PvP anyway. So I would prefer the dark one for free-to-play players. This one, very good for free-to-play players. If there's a chance for us to do it, I recommend you doing it, because it's got a, you know, barrier, and then you'll be able to tank through content basically. So that's very explainable. So here's the Light Loki. Let's move on to the Light Loki. I think he's exclusive to only light and dark eggs. So he has a attack down at 60% for 3 turns and a defense down at 70% for 2 turns. I think he's a really good unit, because, well, he has attack down, defense down. I don't think you see much units with attack down, defense down, you know, that are light and dark. So I think the fact that he has both of them is pretty good. He also has a defense leader skill, which is actually something that makes him more valuable, because you don't see a lot of defense leader skills in the game, and he's also a NAT4 light dark. I feel like the attack down defense down is actually really useful for Titans too. Kind of lackluster for PvP, but I mean for PvE he's a really great monster. I'm not gonna question about it. If you want to raise this monster and you have it, it's up to your discretion, because you know light dark units are very rare. Pulling one of these guys from a light dark egg isn't easy, so almost every light dark egg that you pop that's like a NAT4 or NAT5 you're gonna want to raise. I would raise this monster. That's my opinion. So Toadora, he is a balance type. He is a Guardian Dungeon exclusive monster. I don't think you'll get him through anything else. He has morale boost on his 3-star and sap on his 5-star. It's three types of sap damage for one turn. The proc the proc here is kind of lackluster, but you're gonna be having a lot of chances to proc it because of his morale boost on 100%. It increases. He has an increased attack power by 30 to 35%, which is actually pretty useful all around. However, the sap kind of kills it, makes him only useful for like TOC 55 or something. I haven't built this monster. I don't see a use for him, but you could also build like a Golem's B10 team around him, because he can give an attack up buff if you don't have a light Victoria, and then what is he? He's a balance type, so you can build him tanky to tank some hits. But there are definitely other units you could use for him for Golem's B10. We're almost done. So let's move on to the Light July, who's Rebirth exclusive. Let's make sure I'm recording still. Okay, yeah. So the Light July is Rebirth exclusive. She has a seal at 100% on her 3-star, and then defense down, basically 100% defense down on her 5-star. And that's very valuable because kind of like the Thor has 100% defense down on his 3-star. She procs it off on her 5-star, and then the basically 100% chance to steal. Very good unit for PvP. Yeah, super good unit for PvP. Super good unit for Dragon's B10 too, because she has a lot of attack, and then the defense down is AoE, so it's pretty good. The seal is actually good for mobs until you get to the golem. I don't think you can seal the boss on Golem's B10. But you know, she is a very good PvP unit. For offense PvP, very good because of the seal. Seal is like an exclusive ability for PvP. Some of the most dangerous units come with seal, and the seal meta is actually useful for climbing the ranks. Let's move on to the Tiger. So I haven't pulled one of these. I don't really know what these guys do. Give me 1 second. So he has 100% to sleep on his first skill for 2 turns, and then his hunter is on 5 skill. It increases critical hit damage by 50%. Very good unit. All units that have a 5-star hunter skill or 3-star hunter skill are gonna be good. Just telling you right now. Actually, it's just like the Wood Yaksha. Except he's light and dark, so his stats are going to be a little bit better, given that he's NAT4. He also has a 100% chance to sleep that on crit. So 100% crit gives him that sleep, and then also gives him the bonus 50% damage. You put him on Ruin, he gets another percent of damage from the Ruin set. He has an increased allies attack power, which is great, what I need in Dragon's B10. Why? Because my Gatito and my Moonflower don't hit as hard without, Yeah, without an attack leader skill. So I'm using Mona, the Dark Mona, to give that leader skill, but also to help distribute damage because of the RNG. But if I do have this monster, it'd be great because then I get to put him as leader skill. He gives the attack power to everybody, and then he's also a stunner. I could run maybe a Dark Victoria against to have the 2 stunner and then the distribution of damage out, and it's pretty good. Very good monster. I would raise him, no doubt about that. Again, very high attack. Usually around attackers have that much. His defense and HP. His HP is kind of low. His defense is basic, but yeah, still good. Good kit, very good kit. And he'll do enough damage for Dragon's B10. With that being said, he can also be brought into Golem's B10, so don't get me wrong about that. Good PvP unit, damage and CC, and also a good PvE unit. We'll do a lot of damage in Titans, Dark Titan as well. So a good unit. I would build him. Don't throw him away. The Light Sura has a adrenaline. He restores 10% of allies' HP when attacking, and then I think it's the same on his 5-star, right? Oh no, the percentage is increased. He has a 100% chance to restore 20% of allies' HP when attacking. He's actually a very good passive healer. I think he'll be one of the best passive healers in the game. He's balanced. He's balanced though. So when attacking, it's set amount of when attacking. Well, it's consistent. It's consistent passive heals at 100%. So he's always going to be. The only thing that sucks is that you cannot. It's a fixed set amount. It's not like an exponential set amount. Where what I mean by that is that you cannot build attack or HP, and it's gonna grow off of the how much you build. You know what I'm saying? So it's not gonna be like 10% of his own max HP or max attack damage, which is more valuable because you could just keep building as much as you can of HP or attack, and then your heal is gonna go up. So it's always gonna be a set amount of 20% or 10%. So it's basically you're healing for. In all, it's like 30%. Right? Yeah. No, I take that back. It's not 30% because it's going to be different at different times. However, you'll be healing a little bit more when he does have his SP bar full. But I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good unit. I mean, I would try him out. Golem's B10 will make your runs faster, more stable. Good for maybe PvP as well. I mean, build him tanky as hell, and then he heals your team. It'll kind of suck. His recovery is pretty low, but that's okay because no one likes recovery anyway. His HP is pretty high for a balanced unit, so that's good. Moving on, let's talk about the Light Gatito because he is a fusion unit right now and part of the capture event. If you didn't grab this monster, I suggest you grab this monster. It's one of the most reliable free-to-play monsters you can grab because of the sap, or free-to-play sapper monsters you can grab. It's a 100% chance for 2 turns on a 3-star. He is an HP aggressor and he's a tank. So it's a good combination to build this monster. However, the dark unit does outshine him. Dang it, I did it again. The dark unit does outshine him. I would recommend to focus down the dark unit first, and then at your discretion what you need, get the water, wood, and then the light. You know what I'm saying? But if you're free to play, you're gonna need to get the wood one first, probably, because you're not gonna have a 100% defense downer until the 3rd continent, which is the Shelly, and I don't think you want to wait that long for it. So yeah, I would get the defense downer. Well, first I'd get the dark one if I'm free to play, and then I'd get the defense downer, and then I'd get the light one, and then the water one. And that being because free-to-play players aren't going to be focusing on Titans, and the attack down is really good for Titans because it's at 100%. And then if I'm able to clear TOC 55 with it, you know, I can get 100 gems because TOC isn't really hard. But then again, TOC content is kind of mid to late game, and then if you're a free-to-play player, your problem is going to be early games. So yeah, but still overall good unit. If you do build him, go ahead and finish building him, since like maybe he's at Evo 2 already. Maybe you might want to stop and then get a dark one if you don't have one, or a wood one. But if, I mean, you're already almost there to an Evo 3, just finish it off and then go focus the wood one, dark one and the wood one and the water one or something like that. Just whatever you do, don't build the fire one, he's useless. So the vampire, never really seen this monster. Never really seen these monsters, some of these monsters before, so I'm sorry if it's kind of like taking me slow to review them. But he has a HP siphon, attacks restore own HP in proportion to the amount of damage dealt, and then defense down on second star. He's a good monster. I'm just gonna say he's a good monster right now because he's self-sustaining debuffer. He's an attacker too, so he'll be doing the damage. Attacks restore HP. Actually, a really good monster. Very good monster. One of the best vampires besides the fire vampire. But good luck getting him because he's exclusive to light and dark eggs. But if you do get him, he's very worth raising. Very much worth raising. Let's see his attack. Is this that? No, it's not at 5 stars. 6 stars. Pretty high attack. That's what we need for an attack-based healer. Self-sustaining healer. It's actually a really good monster. I'd build him if I had him. Let's go. The light Yuki has a shock. 80% chance to shock. That's a really great. That's probably one of the highest chances to shock in the game on a 4-star. Grants a 50. So she's an all-around shock unit. I would build her because shock is just super good, super useful. Who cares about the proc rates? But the proc rate on the 3-star skill is really high. She's an attacker. She has really high, or she has fairly high attack, and then pretty low HP. Actually, pretty high HP and defense compared to, I mean, excuse me, compared to other attackers. I mean, it's pretty reliable. Wait a minute. Yeah, we are at 6 stars. Yeah, good unit. I would braze him. So the light Miho, taunt and attack down. Not really useless monster. Not really a useful monster unless you're using the, yeah, taunt is very lackluster in the game unless you're using them for PvP or something. So I'm definitely skip this monster because there are other elements we're talking about, like the wood and the water, and then even the dark one. So yeah, skip this. The Jean, the light Jeans are HP aggressors. Actually, HP aggression is actually really good for PvP because, like the dark Miho, it's not going to be broken by defense break. Yeah, this is just a very OP unit for PvP. So if I were you and you have them, I would save them just for that. Would I build her? Probably would help. I would probably build her to help me get through content if I had him as a free-to-play player. But then again, the only way I'm going to be getting the copies of her is by doing 10+1, so it's going to be a long project. You'll probably complete her by mid-game unless you are whaling it, whale-tailing it, and buying lots of 10+1s or farming gems for a lot of 10+1s. By all means, go ahead. She's probably the best Jean that you can build. And she will help you in PvP, Stagan Heroes 1, or even higher if you have multiple copies of her. She's very OP. I think Fantasy talks about light Jeans all the time. And you can tell by how he used to run like Mihos in PvP. If you watch his videos, it's pretty OP. We all understand that from that. So the Leo is a light. Okay, so light Leo, he's a morale booster. Restore 30% of own SP when attacking. His stun grants a first. It's at a 50% chance. His leader skill is just like the light Leo or the wood Leo. I feel like the stun is pretty lackluster. And he's an attacker too. I wouldn't build this monster just because I'd kind of be caught up trying to figure out if I want to build the fire one or the wood one. And that's the reason why I wouldn't want to build him right away, is because the wood one is good because he's a debuffer. Oh god, I just keep doing that. Ugh. So okay, let's go here. And then the wood one is good because he's a pure debuffer, very tanky. And then the fire one's good because he's a freaking nuker. So I'm gonna be like kind of caught up trying to decide between all three of them. Even if I pulled him and he is a light monster, it's good for the decks, but I'm not gonna want to prioritize him first, just because Wood Leo is good for PvP and overall all-around content. So is this monster for PvP and then for damage for all-around content. So I'll be stuck I was actually stuck between raising a Wood Leo and a Fire Leo at one point, but I noticed that my dark units were better than the Fire Leo. And then I pulled a Moonflower, which is a better version of the Fire Leo, because she is one of the best AoE attackers, nukers in the game. So I didn't have to worry about that, and I just bought the Wood Leo because a tanky debuffer is way better than an all-around nuke team. But I would, if I could go back, I'd probably just build the Fire Leo, just because nuking right now is OP at the stage of the game I'm at. So I would hold off on this because the wood and the fire one actually have value. So the light succubus, now, don't follow me. I did rush this unit because she was in a package, but also because I was able to. And then I'm sorry to say that not all free-to-play units, or not units, players should focus this monster down. Unless you do have the resources to do so, then go ahead. But most of you are not, and you shouldn't be down in the dumps if you can't, because she's okay. She's like a unit that late game players are gonna want to build for like PvP, you know what I'm saying? But I did run her in not dragons. I keep saying dragons because I'm focused on dragons at this point in my game. But at Golems B10, she is good for building a team around her. I did some runs with her. She can tank Golems B10 alone, like straight up. She can tank it. And it's crazy how she can do that. But probably the best version right now is the fire one. The fire one is probably the best defense downer and also the best succubus in the game. Why is because she goes off of critical hits. So she's going to be doing a lot of damage. She has a very good leader skill. She has a 100% debuff that's AoE for 2 turns on her active skill, and she's self-sustaining. So self-sustaining, HP giving, defense downing, debuffing god right now. So she's actually really good. I would build this unit over the light unit. The light unit, if you have it, save it until you can build it, until you have the fire one. Moving on to the light one, has zeal and then aggression. I think this is the first time I've seen aggression on recovery. So you're going to want to build like triple recovery on a recovery set. Really don't know anything about this monster. I haven't seen anybody use it. I haven't seen any one of my guildmates talk about it. I don't know. The dark one is so much better, and we'll talk about that in the next video. So Kira has a dominance buff. Dominance is actually really good. She also has a shock. So what dominance does is basically it reduces the enemy's SP proportional to the amount of damage they deal. So the more damage that they deal, the less they're gonna recover. So it's like inhibiting boost of recovery by how much damage they do. So it's like a inverse attack proportion thingy mid bobber blah 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 blah. Anyway, really good for PvP. The shock and the dominance go very well together. It will catch you guys off guard. It caught me off guard in a couple of teams just because I let the light Kira live, and then I'm just wondering why she's doing so much damage to me, and then why I'm not getting my SP. But yeah, she will surprise you. She's good for PvP. I would keep her. I wouldn't feed her. But then again, with most light dark units, you don't want to feed them or you don't want to give them away, just because of that. Wow, this is gonna be a long video. Okay, so for the light Victoria, probably the MVP of every continent in this game, you're gonna be using her. She is a rebirth unit right now. Go rebirth yours now. If you don't, I'm sorry, you didn't get them, but you might have another chance to get one from a light dark egg or something or so like that. Defense and aggression on both 3-star and 5-star skill. Attack leader skill. Very good unit. Very good unit. Exceptional unit. Everyone uses her. Especially at 10k defense, she can tank golems B10. Very good unit. You should know that by now. Focus that unit. Okay, so the Banshee, 70% chance to shock, 100% chance to give 2 types of sap on the 5-star skill. I wouldn't prioritize this unit, but then again, shock is very OP. Her attack animation is pretty slow. It's hard to combo. Probably good for TOC 55 once you get there, but for early game players, maybe not, but maybe since she is a light unit. Hold on to her, but don't focus her, or don't throw her away. So the light wild fang is actually really good, and I would focus her down early game because she has a 100% chance to defense down, and she also has a shock. That's actually a really good combination. One of the best combinations you're actually going to encounter. So I would focus raising her. It's going to be hard because you can only get wild fang copies from eggs, but you know, if you can. So if you can, I would build her, definitely 100%. So the light Hana. The light Hana has a HP aggression, but is also a 3-turn shielder. I would focus this unit as well. This unit is very good, especially for golems B10, and also for a shielder for PvP, and that's because she's a HP aggressor, and then the 3-turn shielder is just OP. I would focus her, but then again, like most of these units, you're gonna have to pull the copies. You can't farm the copies, so good luck with that. But she's actually very good. So the light siren is actually really good too because she's a shielder, but she's a morale boosting shielder, so she's gonna be shielding more than or faster than other shielders. You can farm copies of her in Aria Lake, so I would definitely build this monster. She is beautiful all around, especially her natural artwork. Not the variant skill, but this one is actually really beautiful. Really high defense. Pretty good. So the light sea star, I actually use her for dragons B10 as my stunner, and then I build attack around her. She's actually really good because she stuns for 100% on her crits, and then on 3-star, and then she has an attack down. The attack down actually can help me tank the dragon breath by the dragons B10 dragon, and then you bait out the death slam, and then that's one less refill you have to do. So it's actually really good for that. And then you could actually, if you land the attack down, some of your units might live for an extra turn to do damage off, and if might actually save a Gatito if you have one. So it's actually a really good unit for dragons B10. The attack down isn't reliable just because the dragon's golem, or the dragon's dungeon, like, seems to be resisting a whole lot more than earlier. So we're almost done here. We just got to talk about a few more units. So the Moonflower, taunt and sap, I probably wouldn't. I would skip her because the dark Moonflower is way better. So the hunter has a shock and HP siphon. I don't think I would build him. Don't focus him down early game. That would be a waste of your resources. Also, he is a rebirth unit exclusive only, so he's actually rebirth right now, but I feel like there are better things to do, like catching your Gatitos or raising a Victoria. So yeah. And then Jacqueline, she's actually a capture event monster exclusive. Not a lot of people have her, but she has 100 skill on her second on her 5-star, and the morale boost on her 3-star is actually a good unit. She's an attacker. I see her in PvP. I don't know why, but you can help her. You could use her for like speedruns and golems B10, and some people do that. She has really high attack, or she has Well, she actually has a good set amount of attack for an attacker, like 3100. That's around the range I've been seeing it so far. Actually, really good monster. I would build her because of that. What else can you use her? You could use her for clearing content, but you can also use her for like nuking through stages. Maybe this unit on SP. Maybe this unit on like a siphon set would be super OP. And I can't wait till the capture event for it comes out, because I missed this capture event, and it would be pretty cool to have one. It's like a light version of the Dark Mona, basically. Anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for my my free-to-play light 4-star NAT 4-star guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned for my dark one. Peace out.